I'm using this. Hello, welcome. Passavant community, welcome to our talent show for 2023. First thing I want to do is do a mic check. So, is there any Michaels out there? I don't think so. How about anybody have a brother or a sister who is Michael? Anybody have a son that might be Michael? Please just raise your hand. Anybody have a friend who's Michael? There you go. Okay, that concludes our mic check. Thank you. The first act we have today is a poem, I Love to Live, by Lois Watkins. She's been here a year and a half, and she'll be on stage in a second to tell us a little about that.
Okay. Today I'm going to read a poem that was given to me a while back. In fact, it was given to me a good while ago for a certain birthday. So I enjoyed it so much that I want to share it with you today because I feel it's appropriate for most of us. So here I go. I love to live. Today, dear Lord, I'm 80, and there's much I haven't done. I hope, dear Lord, you'll let me live until I'm 81. But then, if I haven't finished all I want to do, would you please let me stay a while until I'm 82? So many places I want to go, so very much to see. Do you think that you could manage to make it 83? The world is changing very fast. There is so much in store. I'd like to live it very much until I'm 84. And if by then I'm still alive, I'd like to stay till 85. More planes will be up in the air, so I'd really like to stick and see what happens to the world when I turn 86. I know, dear Lord, it's much to ask, and it must be nice in heaven, but I'd really like to stay until I'm 87. I know by then I won't be fast, and sometimes we'll be late. But it would be so pleasant to be around at 88. I will have seen so many things and had a wonderful time. So I'm sure that I'll be willing to leave at age 89. Maybe. Just one more thing I'd like to say, dear Lord, and I thank you kindly. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to live past 90. It is.
Thank you, that was great. Appreciate that. Our next number is going to be by the Passavant Singers. They're going to sing Hello, Dolly. Now, does anybody remember who starred in the Broadway version of Hello, Dolly? Carol Channing. 1964 musical, won 3 Tonys. Does anybody remember who starred in the film? Right, 1969, it won 3 Oscars. So, as the choral group comes on stage, tonight's Dolly is going to be performed by Phyllis Stoyle. was a talent show here at Passavant, and long before my time. And I understand that a woman cut herself in two as her talent. Yeah, it was really fabulous. She was so good, they voted her for first prize and second prize. Our next act is Frank, who's known by everyone on campus. He's going to do an original piano concerto. He's lived on campus for 13 years, and his assistant today is Lee. Take it away, maestro. Our next act is a song called Friendship by Two Lindas and a Rose. This was written by Harry Woods in 1939. Interesting fact about Harry Woods is he was born with no fingers on his left hand. Yet he taught himself to play the piano. And I understand he plays the black keys with his left hand by doing like that. So remember the name Harry Woods. He appears again later in the show. So welcome to the Lindas and a Rose.
If you ever are in the jam, here I am. If you're ever in distress, SOS. And if you're ever feel so happy, you lay down. Guess what? So it's friendship, just a perfect match. When our friendships have been for us, ours will still be hot. If you're ever stunned by a bee, call on me. If you're ever down a well, ring my bell. And if you're ever out to dine and you lose your teeth, just a perfect match. When other friendships have been forget, ours will still be in. Cha-cha, la-la-la-la, cha-cha-cha. That's not funny. If you're ever on the tea, call on me. And if you're ever
next act is the woman with two first names, Rosemary Shirley. But I was informed she actually has 5 first names. It's Rosemary Jean Laura Graham Shirley. And she's going to do some humorous takes on some standards. She said she's not going to sing, so she'll read them. These are a few of my favorite things, which was from The Sound of Music, I think. And We Three Kings of Orient Art, COVID version.
This first one, Julie Andrews sang in Radio City Music Hall for a fundraiser for AARP. And it's her version, My Favorite Things. Botox and nose drops and needles for knitting, walkers and handrails and new dental fittings, bundles of magazines tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cadillacs and cataracts, hearing aids and glasses, Polydent and Fixodent and false teeth in glasses, pacemakers, golf carts, and porches with swings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the pipes leak, when the bones creak, when the knees go bad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Hot tea and crumpets and corn pads for bunions, no spicy hot food or food cooked with onions, bathrobes and heating pads and hot meals they bring. These are a few of my favorite things. Back pain, confused, brains, and no need for sinning, thin bones and fractures and hair that is thinning. And we won't mention our short, shrunken frames when we remember our favorite things. When the joints ache, when the hips break, when the eyes grow dim, then I remember the great life I've had, and then I don't feel so bad. So, this one is the version of We Three Kings. The words were by R.G. Huff. It says, a serious hymn writer gone rogue. We three kings are 6 feet apart. We'll parallel before we depart. We've been tested, as suggested. Careful are we and smart. Melchior is now quarantined, stuck in Persia, so it seems. So no more travel on a camel, and that's a good thing until we get a vaccine. Belshazzar has lost his taste. Eating food is such a waste. How disquieting. Now he's dieting. Life is now a slower pace. Casper has left the caravan. He postponed his stargazing plan. No more roaming. Casper's homing, scrubbing his red hands. And the chorus is, do our masks match our gowns? Do these face shields hide our crowns? We've had plenty, 2020, still we head toward David's town. So, yeah. Now, remember the hit parade with the 10 top tunes, and they went from 10 down to 1? Well, now we have 10 top hymns for us people. And number 10, it is well with my soul, but my back aches a lot. So, number 9, nobody knows the trouble I have seeing. So, number 8, amazing grace, considering your age. Number 7, just a slower walk with thee. Number 6, count your many birthdays, name them one by one. Number 5, go tell it on the mountain and speak up. Number 4, give me that old timer's religion. Number 3, blessed insurance. Number 2, guide me, O thou great Jehovah. I've forgotten where I parked. And the number 1 hymn for people our age is Nearer, My God, to Thee.
Our next act are people who actually work here, and they've been here longer probably than any resident. Elizabeth Garrett, who's the Associate Director and Nursing Home Administrator, has been here for 14 years. Tanya Kennedy has been here for 39 years as a Household Coordinator at Brandywine in Mount Laurel. And Rhonda Bowers, Director of Nursing, she says more than 30 years. So
we want to dedicate this song to all of our nursing staff in our nursing community because they got through COVID and they really protected all of our campus. You know, Debbie McMurdy was wonderful with her infection control, with Patty DiNardo, Rhonda Hoover, Rhonda Bowers, and all of our teams. So I dedicate that to them and dedicate it to all of you. Okay.
pretty song, and it speaks to our hearts. So I thought we'd need a little break from that. This is an empty bag. Nothing special about it. Here's a pepper shaker and a salt shaker. Now, I'm going to perform a magic trick. I'm going to put the pepper shaker in the bag. Then I'm going to put the salt shaker in the bag. Anybody know any magic words? Poof. The salt became pepper. And the pepper became salt. Bill Perry is going to do a reading, a piece from Alice in Wonderland, which of course was written by Lewis Carroll, and it's called Father William. And it's a question and answer between son and dad. Bill and his wife have been on campus for 5 years.
Written by Lewis Carroll for Alice in Wonderland, probably in the early 1860s. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white, and yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it would injure the brain, but now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, I do it again and again. You are old, said the youth, as I mentioned before, and have grown most uncommonly fat. Yet you turned a back somersault in at the door. Pray, what is the reason for that? In my youth, said the sage as he shook his gray locks, I kept all my limbs very supple by the use of this ointment. 10 shillings the box. Allow me to sell you a couple. You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finish the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. And the muscular strength that it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life. You are old, said the youth. One would hardly suppose that your eyes were as steady as ever. Yet you balanced an eel on the end of your nose. What makes you so awfully clever? I have answered 3 questions, and that is enough, said his father. Don't give yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? Be off, or I'll kick you downstairs.
Nicely done. Thanks, Bill. Our next number is a song. It's a duet. Side by Side. It was written by the guy I mentioned before. Anybody remember? Harry Woods. Yeah. This was written in 1927. Jim Dotson has been on campus for 11 years. Linda Orr, 4.5. And our pianist is going to be Celia Taylor. And did you know she used to be in the 4-H club?
Well, before we get started, I'd like to thank our accompanist, Seal, a Duke graduate, plus other universities, and she's also a union barmaid. So we'll get this going. Oh, hell, that's close enough. Okay, Seal, please. Take a girl of money, maybe I'm ragged and funny, but
travel the road, singing a song, side by
side. Don't know what's coming tomorrow. Maybe it's trouble and sorrow, but we'll travel the road, sharing the load, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just you and I together, it doesn't matter at all. When they have quarreled and parted, we'll be the same as we started. Just singing a song, side by side. When we've all been quarreled and parted, we'll be the same as we started, just traveling along, singing a song, side by
Next up is Kathy Peters, the current president of the Resident Association. She is going to do something she heard several years ago. It's an adaptation. It's called Who Is He?
Who is he? Do you know him? He has many titles. He's the King of the ages. He's the King of the Jews. He's the King of righteousness. He's the King of heaven. He's the King of glory. He's the King of kings. He's Lord of lords. He's the bread of life. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. He is the great I am. Do you know him? This king is a sovereign king. No means of measure can define his limitless love, and no barrier can hinder him from pouring out his blessings. In fact, his mercies are new every morning. He's empirically powerful. He's enduringly strong. He's entirely sincere, and he's eternally steadfast. He's immortally graceful, and he's impartially merciful. Do you know him? He's the greatest one to ever cross our horizon. He's the Son of God, yet he's God the Son. He's the light of the world. He's the superlative of anything good you could say about him. And he's the only one qualified to be our all-sufficient Savior. He knew no sin. Do you know him? He's available to the tempted. He blesses the young. He cleansed lepers. He defends the poor. He forgives sinners. Phew, that's good. He guards and he guides. He heals the sick. He rewards the diligent. He sustains and saves anyone who asks him. He supplies strength to the weak. He is trustworthy. He's the doorway to deliverance. He's the gateway to glory. He's the highway to holiness. He's the key to the kingdom. He's the pathway to peace. He's the roadway to righteousness. He's the wellspring of wisdom. He's the way, the truth, and the life. He's our living hope. His goodness, limitless. His grace, sufficient. His life, matchless. His love never ends. His mercy, everlasting. His promises, guaranteed. And his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Gee, I wish I could describe him to you, but he's indescribable. He's incomprehensible. He's invincible. You can't outlive him, and you can't live without him. Herod couldn't kill him. The Pharisees couldn't stand him, but they couldn't trick him. Pilate couldn't find any fault with him. Death couldn't have him. The grave couldn't keep him. He defeated death. He conquered sin. He arose. He's alive. That's him. It's Jesus. Yay, Jesus.
Wow. Thank you. Elizabeth Garrett is back again. She's going to do a tribute to Passavant. It's an original composition. It's about the beauty of our community and its desire to bloom.
So this is not a prose. I'm not giving you a prose, but I wanted to tell you that I was checking on the century plant. How many of you have heard of the century plant? Have you heard of it? It blooms oftentimes in the Arizona desert. So I was waiting to do that as a part of the basis of my tribute, and then I remember what Laura Roy always says, and she says, check your information. So I went back and I checked my information on the century plant, and it doesn't mean that it takes 100 years to bloom. First time I ever heard that, I thought it was 100 years to bloom. But the truth of it is, it just means that it takes a long time to bloom. So I couldn't use that as my image. But I wanted to, my tribute is, as I have here to support and serve our community, is that we want to make our community a place of life and a place of each person. You've all been so intelligent to choose a place that gives you a supportive structure in your aging process. But what's brilliant about that is that it gives you the opportunity for growth. You can continue to grow as a person. We outlive our age. We outlive our roles, been parents and aunts and uncles. We have been brothers and sisters. We've lived all our roles. But having this environment that helps protect and give you security, you also have then the opportunity to continue to grow. And we're working on making our community like Aspire. You've heard about it many times. But we want to make sure that that is what it is, and that your voices are the voices that we hear. That the way that you want to grow and become, we provide. And the reason I did this at all is because Kathy Peters, and you probably know that Kathy Peters is a researcher, right? My undergraduate degree is fine arts acting. And in the Middle Ages, and I think it's still true, we just don't admit it, in the society, the actors are really the lowest, not if there's a lowest persons on the totem pole. They contribute the less to the community. And here I was really humbled that a researcher would ask a fine arts acting major to contribute. So I couldn't say no, although I did want to. But I didn't say no, and my team, my staff is multi-talented, as you could see them. So my tribute is that it's not a word, I'm going to be singing a song at the end, a cappella, but my tribute is to you, to all of each of you, that you have chosen wisely, and that we are truly dynamic and changing every time you think something different. If you see some way we can improve upon how we support you. But our prayer as our leadership is to continue your growth and not let yourselves feel ageist or determined by a society, that you define your own and grow and become the fullness of your gifts. So I do have a song, because I just love this song. There's no reason. So it is a song called How Good You Are, God, and I can sing it a cappella. How good you are, God, how I love to say your name. It is music full of harmony. It fills my heart with happiness to be with you. What a wonder, what a joy to be. I sing you to the world around me. My heart rejoiced to say your name. And when I die, my heart will go on praising you. It will go on praising you.
The last act coming up, it's How Can I Say Thank You? It was written by Andre Crouch in 1971. Get your handkerchiefs out, it's a tearjerker. Rosalie Bablak lived on campus for 2.5 years, and she's accompanied by Jean Resky, yeah. For 11 years, she told me, right? Yeah.
How can I say thanks for the things you have done for me? Things so undeserved, yet you gave to prove your love for me. The voices of a million angels could not express my gratitude. All that I am and ever hope to be, I owe it all to thee. To
Well, that's the end of our show. I want to thank you all for your attention. I want to thank the talents for performing today, for the technical people, stage manager, my wife Linda, behind the scenes people. I know Sandy was one of them. I know Kevin was part of that now. And thanks again for your attending. And give everyone who performed today a
Thank you.